Have you ever heard someone say, imagine if humans could unlock 100% of their brain? Maybe you've seen it in movies. A struggling writer takes a miracle pill and suddenly becomes a genius. A regular person unlocks hidden mental powers and can predict the future. Some people even believe that right now you're only using 10% of your brain. But what if I told you that isn't just wrong, it's one of the biggest myths ever believed by millions of people? And the truth is actually far stranger, because the real reason humans can't use 100% of their brain at the same time might be the very thing keeping us alive. Let's start with a simple question. Imagine you just bought the most advanced smartphone on Earth. It costs thousands of dollars. The battery drains incredibly fast. It constantly generates heat. Now imagine someone tells you that 90% of its hardware never gets used. Sounds ridiculous, right? No company would build a device that wastes that much space, power, and money. So why would evolution do it? The human brain weighs only about 2% of your body weight, yet it consumes around 20% of your body's energy. Think about that. 1/5 of all the calories you burn every day go to this 3-pound organ sitting inside your skull. Your brain is one of the most expensive pieces of biological equipment ever created. Nature doesn't waste energy. If 90% of your brain truly did nothing, evolution would have gotten rid of it millions of years ago. But that's not what happened. Instead, scientists discovered something fascinating. Virtually every part of your brain has a purpose, and most of it is active throughout the day, even when you think you're doing absolutely nothing. Right now, as you're watching this video, your visual cortex is processing images. Your auditory cortex is decoding my voice. Memory systems are comparing what you're hearing to things you've learned before. Parts of your brain are predicting what I'm about to say next. And another part is deciding whether this video is worth continuing. All of that is happening simultaneously, without you even noticing. But here's where things get interesting. People often hear that we use our whole brain and assume that means every neuron is firing at once. That sounds logical. More activity must mean more power, right? Actually, no. Because if every neuron in your brain fired at the same time, you wouldn't become a genius. You would have a seizure. Think of your brain like a massive city. Millions of lights, millions of roads, millions of workers. The city functions because different areas are active at different times. Traffic moves where it's needed. Electricity flows where it's needed. Resources are distributed intelligently. Now imagine every light turning on, every traffic signal changing at once, every vehicle trying to move simultaneously. The city wouldn't become more efficient, it would collapse into chaos. That's essentially what would happen inside your brain. The secret isn't maximum activity. The secret is coordinated activity. The right neurons in the right places at the right moments. And here's something even stranger. Your brain may actually be working harder while you're asleep than you realize. Think about it. You close your eyes. You stop moving. Hours pass. It feels like everything shuts down. But inside your skull, a completely different story is unfolding. While you sleep, your brain sorts through memories from the day. Important information gets stored. Unnecessary information gets discarded. Connections between neurons are strengthened. Problems are processed. Patterns are recognized. Scientists have even discovered that during sleep, the brain performs a kind of cleaning process. Like a nighttime maintenance crew. Waste products that accumulate throughout the day are flushed away. Imagine a city where thousands of workers come out after midnight to repair roads, remove garbage, and prepare everything for the next morning. That's your brain every single night, without asking for permission, without charging you extra, without ever taking a vacation. So if we're already using far more than 10% of our brain, where did the myth come from? The answer is surprisingly murky. Some historians believe it originated from misunderstandings of early neurological research. Others point to exaggerated self-help claims. Over time, the idea spread through books, magazines, television, and eventually Hollywood. And honestly, it's easy to see why people loved it. The myth offers hope. It tells us that a hidden superpower is waiting inside us, that greatness is locked behind an invisible door, that one day we'll discover the secret switch and suddenly become extraordinary. But reality is more complicated, and in many ways, far more impressive. Because your potential doesn't come from unused brain regions. It comes from improving the connections that already exist. Think about learning to drive. The first time you sit behind the wheel, everything feels overwhelming. Mirrors, pedals, traffic, road signs. You have to consciously think about every movement. But after months of practice, you do it almost automatically. What changed? You didn't unlock a hidden 90% of your brain. Your brain became more efficient. Neural pathways strengthened. Communication improved. Tasks that once required enormous effort became streamlined. The same thing happens when learning an instrument. Playing sports, coding, public speaking, building a business, or mastering any skill. Success isn't about accessing more brain. It's about training the brain you already have. And here's the part most people never hear. Your brain is already one of the most powerful objects in the known universe. It contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each connected through vast networks of electrical and chemical signals. It can generate imagination, language, dreams, music, art, technology, civilizations. Every invention you've ever seen, every book ever written, every scientific breakthrough, every masterpiece, all of it began inside a human brain. Not because people unlocked hidden percentages, but because they learned how to use what was already there. So the next time someone says humans only use 10% of their brain, remember this. You're not operating at 10%. You're operating one of the most complex biological machines ever created. A machine that never truly shuts down. A machine working while you sleep, while you learn, while you dream, and while you wonder about mysteries like this one. The real question was never, how do we unlock the other 90%? The real question is, what could happen if we train the 100% we already have? And honestly, that possibility might be even more incredible. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more unbelievable facts, mysterious discoveries, and myths that aren't what they seem. Because sometimes the truth is far more fascinating than the legend.